Hey guys, Graham from Great Off-Road Adventures here. Been fortunate enough through making my videos to have a few local companies come on board and support me. So today down in Maddington, and I'm getting a ECU tune done on the 200 series, also getting a TCU remap done. So stay tuned and I'll show you the results as we go. The first thing we had to do was remove the ECU from the vehicle. This meant removing one of my batteries and auxiliary battery tray. I then gave the ECU to Brendan, who installed the remap transmission file. Got the ECU back in the car now and all reassembled, and it'll be my turn to hop on the dyno shortly, and we'll run it up and we'll get a before reading, which is currently now with the DP chip. We'll pull the DP chip out, we'll get what would be essentially a stock reading, and then we'll throw some files at it and see how it goes. What you'll see on this graph is the noticeable gains and improvement that the tune is giving us over both the DP chip and the stock file in the mid and top range. You'll also see on the AFR graph how much better the AF fuel ratio is on the tune compared to the DP chip. Well, we just finished with the tune. Pretty happy with how the car's going. What I do want to do though is I want to go away this weekend, take the car for a drive, familiarise myself with it, and I'll do a nice comprehensive detailed report on my thoughts regarding the tune next week, and I'll include that at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. everyone. So we just got back from Boyagin Rock and Boyagin Nature Reserve. Thoroughly enjoyed the day out there. Nice spot just to escape for a day trip. Not really hardcore four-wheel driving, but there's some superb views and really nice scenery out there. So definitely worth a trip out that way if you're just looking to waste a bit of time or kill the day and just want a lazy day out of the house. So anyway, over the last few days since I've had the tune, as things have come to mind, I've been writing a list so that I can cover and answer as many questions as possible now. And if you do have any more questions, fire away in the comments below. I'll get around to answering them over the coming days. So I'll look down and I'll refer to my notes as we go. I'm going to touch quickly now what work I had done before the tune. So the first thing I did when I got the car, I installed my my own 30 micron pre-filter fuel filter kit, and that's working pretty well, no issues. And then December last year I installed an exhaust system on the car. It's twin 2.5 inch to single 3 inch Manta system running high flow cats and a rear resonator. Really good system, bit of bark to it, sounds good, and obviously not hampering performance at all. And just recently I installed a oil fumes catch can. I got a Taipan catch can because it's the one that specifically goes behind the bull bar. I needed that because my engine bay was full of stuff. The last thing I had done, I gave the car to my mechanic for 2 days. There was a bit of work to be done, but the one thing he did do that I specifically requested was for him to pull the intake apart and clean the EGR soot sludge out. Now my car's a 2008 200 series with 185,000 Ks. The amount of soot build up in there was pretty considerable, let's say. It was throughout the intake about 6mm thick and up to 10mm thick in places, so that's pretty bad. Now what that carbony soot in the intake does is restricts airflow, throws my air fuel ratios out, and the carbon retains a lot of heat. Running the DP chip, which the car's been running for years, on the highway at about 100 k an hour, 100 to 110, it used to sit about 430 degrees EGT. Now I was aware that was a bit higher than what I expected it to be, but I hadn't got around to lowering it, working out how to lower it. So the first thing I noticed after the intake clean was a massive drop in EGTs from about 430, 440 down to 400. So I was pretty happy with that, and the car just ran generally smoother and a bit better with the clean intake. So yeah, worth the money, definitely. On the EGTs note, I'll talk about my tune now, specifically the engine tune. Wrapped with it, the mandate was for safe and reliable. My car's not a V8 supercar. I don't need out and out power, so I wasn't chasing a massive power tune, but I was chasing something that would be safe and reliable and give me lots of trouble-free motoring, and especially be trouble-free out in the bush on trips. So that it has delivered, certainly. So on the topic of EGTs, on the run out to Boyagin Rock, it was about 28-30 degree day, so you know, moderately warm. My EGTs were sitting about 330, 340, running the aircon, 6 gear, 100, 110 k an hour. So from before my intake clean to now, I've dropped over 100 degrees, which I'm pretty happy with. The big drop there from 400 back down to 330, that's as a result of my AFR, air fuel ratio, being corrected, and that's been corrected in the tune. So I showed it in the video. Obviously numbers don't mean anything. I'm going to try and explain it the best I can. So diesels and petrols are different. With a diesel, the more fuel, the richer the air fuel ratio, the hotter the combustion. the leaner the air-fuel ratio, the cooler the combustion. That's the opposite way around for a petrol. So with my air-fuel ratio being 13:1 with the DP chip, it was running rich, which means it was running hot. Now with the corrected air-fuel ratio in my tune, it's back to 17:1. It's running a lot better. It's running a lot cooler, a lot smoother, more power. And the more power in the tune is from a multitude of other things, not the correction of the air-fuel ratio by itself. But yeah, the car's running a lot better with the tune. And obviously that correction of the air-fuel ratio means it's a lot safer. So overall I am wrapped. Absolutely thrilled with it. Talking about the transmission tune now, specifically. Again, it's like, yeah, I'm going to rab it on you. It's transformed the way the car drives. It's heaps better. Now, the specific details on that are, before I had any tuning done, about a year ago, I installed a torque converter lockup kit, and I thought that transformed the way the car drove. Now, the lockup kit and the transfile or the transmission tune go hand in hand together. So a year ago I thought it transformed the car, and now it's wow, it's heaps better. So yeah, what it does, change the gear shifting pattern, so it changes gears quicker, smoother, crisper. It seems to pick the right gear all the time. Certainly in the 800 k's I've done since the tune, including up and down some hills out by Boyagin Rock and Brookton Highway on the way out there. So yeah, it's markedly better to drive with the transmission file. The other thing it does is it goes into 6th gear a lot better. I'd found a way of sort of tricking it into 6th gear, as in going into sports mode, selecting 6th, and then like feathering the throttle, and it might go in, and then it'll quite quickly bump back out to 5th if you hit any sort of incline or you touch the accelerator at all to speed up. Now with the transmission tune, it'll go into 6th gear from about 95, and with the lockup kit it'll just sit in 6th and it'll happily just pull along. So if you're in a 100 zone and you go up to 110 zone, you can just ease onto the throttle and it'll stay in 6th, locked up at 1500 revs, and just cruise you up to 110. So that's really, really good. I'm absolutely wrapped with that, and I'll put up a little clip of just driving normally. You know, just taking off from a standing start, accelerating up to like 80. You know, it'll go through first to 5th. You know, it'll go up to 2000 revs, and it'll change gears to the next gear. With the lockup kit, it really swiftly, crisply drops back, or, you know, drops the revs down to 1500-ish, and then just keeps going. So it's super easy to drive, and that's leads me on to the next thing, talking about fuel economy. So before I did any performance mods to the car, it used to run around 16 litres per 100 k's. Now with the exhaust, the intake clean, and the DP chip, before the tune, I ran about 13.8 per 100 k's. Having just done 800 k's out to Boyagin Rock, around town to work, all sorts, I put in 119 litres for 810 kilometres, 118 litres for 810 kilometres, which works out about 14.5. Now I've got to say, it's been a bit addictive to drive with the tune, get the revs up, use that power. So it's probably not the best test the first few 100 k's after the tune, but I have a trip coming up now and I'm going to drive it more normally. Let's say I get back from that and I'll review my fuel economy again. But look, I'm pretty happy to be doing 14.5 immediately after the tune, and I got to say I have been putting my foot into it. So yep, overall pretty good, pretty happy. Would I get it all done again? Absolutely. On that note, shout out to the guys at Manta for supporting me and setting me up with the tunes. Yeah, absolutely wrapped, guys. Good work. Special mention, thanks here to Mark at AMV Automotive in Maddington. Mark lent us his workshop and his dyno for the day. So awesome. Thanks for that, Mark. And then yeah, shout out to all my other supporters, sponsors and viewers. thanks for watching the videos, thanks for supporting me. I'll have another trip video coming up shortly, so stay tuned for that. If you're new to the channel, then make sure you subscribe, because yeah, I hope to make lots more videos. I hope you guys are enjoying watching them. So take care, guys, and we'll see you out there.